Hey everyone, I'm going live here from Bermuda and I am hoping for a strong, reliable connection. I've had some bad luck with the internet here in Bermuda and I'm hoping that I finally found a place with a good connection. I hope some of you will join me. I know it's in the middle of the night for some of you, especially in Europe, but it's before dinner time here, so I thought I'd find time. Hey Diego, you're the first to say hi. How are you doing? And who's that? Joshbin, 25, glad you're here. Joseph Edward Ramos Ramirez, you're with me too. Hey guys. Hey Breen, Amazar, and who else is here? Abdul Malik and Martin. Hi Manal. Guys, where are you all joining from? Hi Anderson. So I'm here in Bermuda, I'm in my hotel, and I wanted to find a quiet place. It's not easy in a hotel because they're usually playing music somewhere, either live or recorded. So I asked permission to come in to this restaurant because it's closed. Hey Frank and Nasir, Hassan and Pearl. That's an interesting username, don't quit. Hello to you. Hey Meku, hi Kurt. So I found this place. I'll walk through so you can see a little bit of where I'm at. I'm in this restaurant. This is where we have breakfast. Hey, Hall and Pearl White. And it's a quiet place because currently it's closed. So I asked permission to come in. I said I wouldn't touch anything. I just need a quiet place. Hey, Tota and Joshman is here and David. So I'm in this beautiful room where we take breakfast, and they have these amazing windows where if you're lucky enough to get a table next to a window, then you have this awesome view of the water. Amalia's here and Jilver, Omer. Okay, let me turn around so you can see. Look at those amazing windows. You may not be able to see clearly beyond those windows, but that is the water. Hey, Frank from Mexico. And I don't think you can see it because of the lighting, but way in the distance, there are two cruise ships, those huge cruise ships. And part of me wants to go on a cruise ship as a passenger. I worked on a cruise ship, by the way, in the past, in my youth, but I've never been a passenger on a cruise ship. Marcelo's here, Emad, Parvana, and Mari is here. Yeah. The view is amazing. So we were lucky enough 2 days in a row at breakfast to be seated in a way where I could see the water. So isn't it amazing to enjoy food and have a really gorgeous view? From Argentina, hello. And Rodney is here, Rodrigo is here. You said you went on a cruise, Rodney. How was it, and which cruise line did you go on? We'd love to try it once. My husband is afraid of getting seasick, motion sickness, but I would love to try it. I'm a little bit afraid of those huge cruise ships. They look so big, I just don't think they're supposed to float. Edelson, Marcelo, hey guys, hey Christina, and Cruiser joined me here as well. I'm sorry that if it's very late or very early for some of you. Talking Links just joined me from St. Petersburg, from Peter, hello. Yes, I'm hoping for a great connection. Right now, I'm very fortunate. The first couple of days were really bad trying to find a strong connection, but thankfully, if you just ask around, usually you can find help. And there was somebody on the hotel staff who's kind of like their IT guy, and I said, can I get a better connection? Eventually, I might want to live stream, and so he got me on a network with better performance. So thanks to Kevin here, he's the IT guy, he got me this connection. So, hey Marcelo and Sirwan. So we've only had a few days. I wish we could spend a full week, a couple weeks here in Bermuda, but one, it's a matter of vacation time, how much vacation time my husband can get. And two, as you know, vacations are lovely, but someone has to pay for them, and it is expensive. So you have to budget and think, well, how many days can you spend and really enjoy yourself? So you have to make a choice of, do you stretch the budget and do you make wise decisions? So we'd love to spend a full week, but we knew that 4 nights would be enough to enjoy. ourselves and see the island. We'd love to spend more time, but it is quite expensive. But we've still seen quite a lot in the short time that we have here, and I've been able to relax. But we don't just want to spend all our time at the beach, you know? It's about seeing new sights as too, seeing new sights. Someone's saying you have a lot of money. You know, you just have to budget. People find ways to find deals. And so, you know, if you choose airlines at the right time, departing on a certain day at a certain time, the airfare becomes cheaper. And if you learn to bundle your hotel and your flight, your trip also becomes cheaper. And you just have to shop around, right? That's a good phrasal verb. Shop around for a good deal and see how you can save money so that that money can be spent on other things like excursions. Something interesting for us is coming here and just noticing the differences, because do you know Bermuda is a British territory, but in some ways it still feels like the States because they have their own currency, but they also accept US dollars, and it's an exchange rate of 1-to-1. And a lot of the English is North American English. If you listen very carefully, I do hear a slight difference in the accent, but for the most part, I'm hearing a lot of American English, North American English. In some ways, it feels like the States. Of course, they drive on the other side of the road. That feels different. Some of the signs feel different. But also, they don't have all the rideshare programs here, like Uber or Lyft. Does anyone use those, Uber, Lyft? I'll turn around here and give you a different view. See if I can get in better light. Okay, how's that? Oops, a little bit sunny. And so we have to take taxis. If we leave the resort, we have to use taxis, and the taxis are quite expensive. And the reason for that, mainly, I believe, is because the gas prices here in Bermuda are so high. So in the US, our gas prices might be like, $2-3 a gallon. And here it's like $8 or $9 a gallon. It's like 3 times as much. We saw some electric cars, but it's very expensive. The nice thing, though, about taking all the taxis as a tourist is that the taxi drivers are usually very sociable people, very friendly, and they each have something different to share with you. So if you get in a taxi, you're probably going to have kind of like a mini tour, sort of some insight. You can ask your questions about life here. And so it's also been part of the experience of riding in the taxis and talking to the local drivers and having them share their perspective of life here in Bermuda, which is very different. Hey guys, for those of you just joining me, I'm in my hotel here in Bermuda, and I'm lucky enough to have a good connection, so I thought I'd go live. This morning, we went to caves. Did you know that Bermuda has some limestone caves? And we went to 2 of them. The older set of caves, it's called Crystal Caves. And then a newer set of caves opened called the Fantasy Caves. So we decided to do everything. We got tickets for both caves, and we had to climb some stairs. It's not our first experience doing caves. I think caves are very beautiful. I shared photos on Instagram and on Facebook, so you can check them out. We haven't been here long. We got here, I think, on Sunday. Now it's Wednesday, tomorrow is Thursday, so that's a kind of a short trip, but there's still quite a lot that you can do, even within 5-6 days. And we saw the caves, which were quite beautiful. They're limestone caves, and you can see the pictures and see how all these different formations have formed over not just centuries, but like long time. Beautiful. Anyone who knows caves, there's actually, I think in grade school we had to learn those words of stalactites and stalagmites. Does it cost an arm and a leg? Yes, pretty much everything does cost an arm and a leg. Okay. Oh, stunning, lad. You're saying that you went on the community tab. Yes. For those members, I posted a new task, so you can try that new task on the community tab. But I was telling you that when we visit caves, it's always interesting to hear the history that the tour guides want to share with you. And these caves, they're limestone caves, and the story goes that in the early 1900s, these 2 boys were like playing cricket outside. They're like 13 and 14. and the ball just got hit too hard, rolled away, and it went down this sinkhole. It sank into the ground. And the boys were curious, and also wanted to retrieve their ball. And when they found their ball, it was like underground, and that's how they've discovered the first cave, the crystal caves. And so I guess they got a rope, they lowered themselves down, which must have been really scary because it was pitch black, very dark. And they went back home to tell their parents or their fathers, and then word spread that these boys had discovered caves. And the family that owned the property soon realized what they could do with that, and they turned it into a tourist site and offered some tours of the caves very early on in the 1900s. The sad thing about that is that the early tourists of these caves didn't understand the importance of preserving nature and not touching things. So they, I think somebody said they took saws. I have to put my bag down to show you. So in the caves, there are these stalactites that form from the ceiling and stalagmites that form from the ground. And these early tourists sawed off the pointy tips of the stalactites as a souvenir. And those stalactites took thousands of years to form, and people just like sawed it off within minutes. It's just very sad that they destroyed parts of the caves. But still a lot is there to enjoy today, and I was happy to see it. Yeah. So in any case, I was very excited to see the caves and crystal blue water. It's just absolutely gorgeous to see this pure-looking, clean-looking water underground. And apparently, I guess if you're like a snorkeler with a lot of expertise, you could snorkel through the water and snorkel out to the Atlantic Ocean. I'm not that type of person that would go snorkeling in a cave. It would be too scary. After the caves today, we went to the town of St. George. Bermuda is quite small compared to like the US and even the state of Massachusetts. So we just drove to the other tip of the island, the town of St. George, and we had lunch there. The prices are a little bit expensive in these restaurants, I will say. Maybe the locals know better places to get cheap food, but you're on vacation, you have to budget for all the meals. Yes, I'm in Bermuda. The capital is Hamilton, but we went to the town of St. George for lunch. And I'm in the hotel right now. I asked permission to come to this breakfast room because it's quiet. And so I'm gonna turn around so again, you can see these beautiful windows, and they look out on the water. And if you look really hard, you might be able to see some cruise ships in the background. Does it deliver the goods? Yes, for the most part. I mean, you can always nitpick. Do you know that expression, nitpick? So if you look and you have high expectations, you can always find something that is not up to your expectations, something you wish could be better. But I think if you have a relaxed attitude, then any vacation can be pretty good. You just have to go with the flow. There's lots of things that can happen on a vacation. Things aren't always perfect. This is one of our vacations where we didn't have a real strict itinerary. Itinerary is a plan. So we just had a vague idea of what we were going to do, and we're kind of making things up as we go along, which is good, because yesterday we ended up on a ferry ride. We had no plan to do that. It just so happened that we saw a ferry and we asked if we could get on it, and we did. So we had this beautiful ferry ride, and we passed a lot of private boats. I think I shared a picture either on Facebook or Instagram of these private yachts. Can you imagine these yachts? They're like multi-million-dollar yachts. One of them, I think, was on sale for like $100 million, but they finally sold it for like less than that. But still, I mean, even like 40 or 50 million is a lot of money to spend on a yacht. But it was just pretty to sail by and imagine the inside. We Googled the ship as soon as we learned the name of the yacht. If you have questions about Bermuda, I'll try to do my best to answer, but I'm not an expert. You just saw the shuttle go by. They do have a private beach here, and you have to take a shuttle to get it because our hotel is up high on a hill, and you have to take this shuttle just for a couple of minutes to go down to the private beach. The water is warm and clean and clear. On our private beach, though, there was a good amount of seaweed, but they usually clean it up for us by the end of the day. Hi, Red, and Victor's here, and Robbie from Iraq. Thanks, guys, for joining me. No one is around because I got permission to come into this restaurant. It's completely empty. I didn't want to be where a lot of other people were, and I didn't want to have music in the background. So this is a nice, quiet place. And maybe at some point I'll start slowly walking out to the lobby, but I think I'm going to attract a lot of attention as the person who's live streaming as I walk through the lobby with my camera and microphone. But I can give you a glimpse of the hotel lobby if you'd like. I can step outside, but I fear that the breeze is going to be very strong. But we've been pretty fortunate. We had 2 beautiful sunny days. Today is cloudy, a little bit of sprinkles. There were supposed to be some thunderstorms, but I haven't seen lightning. I haven't heard thunder. I'm going back to the U.S. tomorrow afternoon. The sand is incredible. They do call the sand pink sand, and I kept waiting to see where's the pink sand, and it's mostly when it's wet. The waves crash onto the beach, the water recedes, I mean, it moves back, it draws back, and the pink sand is the wet sand. At least that's what I feel. When I start looking for the pink sand, I see it as the wet sand. It is quite rosy and pretty in color, and the water is turquoise and very warm. The waves are fun for me. If you're a surfer, I'm not sure you'd be too happy. They don't have those huge crashing waves, but if you just enjoy being in the water and jumping up and down as the waves pass you by, then you would enjoy the beaches here. I found it very fun. It's very family friendly, and there are a lot of beaches, both private and public. We asked the taxi drivers what do they do, and they said there are so many public beaches to choose from. So I think it's you wouldn't have any problem trying to find a public beach if you ever came to Bermuda. Pink sand has me think about the Red and Dead Seas. Yeah, I would love to visit the Red Sea, the Dead Sea. I haven't seen those yet. Hi, Fatima. And was that Achilles is here? So we just have another day left. I'm not sure exactly what we'll do with our time. Probably not much, but part of vacation is just relaxing. We haven't done too much of that. We've been trying to see new places and new sites. Yesterday we went to the other tip of the island, and we went to the Royal Navy dockyard. Does anyone know the history of Bermuda? I'd mentioned at the beginning that it's a British territory. Does anyone know who discovered Bermuda? The name Bermuda is actually named after the person who first discovered the place. If anyone, guess another country. It wasn't the UK, it wasn't England. Does anyone understand? Does anyone know? I believe, if I don't mix up my dates, I think it was in the 1500s. There was a Spaniard who found Bermuda first. But it wasn't until like a century later that the British came, and the British were the first to set up a colony here. So the British came, they set it up, and that's why you still see their influence today. Like St. George is a historic town, and as I said, they still have like a lot of the signs feel British to me, and they drive on the left side of the road, whereas in the States we drive on the right side. The steering wheels are also on the right. If you listen to some of the Bermudians speak English, some of it sounds very American to my ears, North American English, but I also hear sometimes this influence of British English. I will say there are a lot of American tourists here at the resort. Shopping around the gift shop, we did hear 2 women speaking Russian. I've heard some French, I've heard some Spanish. I didn't know that. You said Bermuda means shots? That's interesting. The meaning of Bermuda. I think it was named after the Spaniard who first discovered the island. His last name was something similar to Bermuda, if not exactly Bermuda. But yes, I don't know the meaning of the word. But it's been around then since the 1600s as a colony, and that's why the Royal Navy dockyard had the presence of the British. But now it's just a territory. I understand that Bermuda, so they govern themselves sort of independently, but they are a British territory. but they're quite independent in how they run themselves. We were talking to the latest taxi driver and asking, where do people go to college if they go off the island? Some go to Canada, apparently, and of course the States. They do have a university here, and I asked, well, what do people study here at the university? And they said oceanography was the choice. So if that's the field of interest that you have, maybe you would come to Bermuda. All right, guys, my hand is shaking because I'm trying to pick up my bag as I walk. Let me see if I can get a better handle on all of this. And you know what we can do? I will try to walk out into the lobby and give you another sight, okay? Does their English have a very different accent? It depends on who's talking. The one tour guide at the caves had such beautiful English. It was North American with, but it was so clear and articulate and had this musical quality, somewhat British, but it's like I can hear when I start listening that it's not quite American English. There's another influence to it. But it is a British territory. As I said, they have their own currency here, but they do also accept US dollars. The big industry here is, I think, insurance, actually, and tourism. Okay? All right, I'm going to go through the next part of this restaurant. They shut off the light, so it's going to get dark for a second, and then I'll step out into the lobby. So here we are in the place where it's really dark. I feel like I'm trespassing, but they said it's okay for me to come in here. I'm walking through the dark part of this restaurant. You're on a little adventure with me as we go through this room. There's a piano over there. I so wish I could play, but I don't know if I have the time, or again, I'd have to ask permission. Is there an elevator? Of course there's an elevator, yes. There's only 6 floors. It's not a very tall resort. Okay, now we're back to light. Isn't that a pretty mural behind me? Okay, I'll pause for a second because I know I'm shaking my hand as I hold this. Can you show us the beach? I will try. There's one other room I can go to. Okay, people are gonna start looking at me very strange as I walk with my camera. So I'll just talk a little bit and not try to attract a lot of attention. Okay, I might have lost the connection for just a teeny bit. I'm sorry. I didn't know what would happen if we lost the connection. Okay, so I'm in this sort of conference center right now. I'll turn around, you can take a quick peek, okay? And now we're gonna step outside and hope that I still have a connection, okay? And then if I lose connection, I apologize, but this is the best I can do to give you a quick look at the outside. It's gonna get noisy. Okay, so we're gonna walk along here. I'm not sure if I can show you the beach. This is the pool. So we'll walk along. Let's see what we can do. You guys still with me? Sorry, I don't have anything to stop this shaking. Okay, I'm walking to the edge of this deck out here. That's the pool. I haven't been in the pool. We're here for the beach, so that's what we decided to do. We went to the beach while we could, while the sun was shining. Okay. I have to catch the rainwater. Oh, I don't see the beach from here, guys. Beach, okay. But do you see some of the, right? And the roof collect the rainwater because, width is limited, so they have to collect their rainwater for that purpose. So that's the beautiful water view. I heard someone say, Ketty, you're telling me it's a bad connection. I'm gonna see if I can step back in where there's a better connection. Quietly, because I'm next to more people here. Okay. Oh, I say, walking by people. Okay. And there's music playing in the background, but the connection might be better as I approach the lobby. Oh, guys. I think I'm gonna have to end it because as I move around the hotel, the connection is going to falter. I mean, it's not going to be reliable. Okay, I apologize the connection isn't better, but at least you got a glimpse of the hotel and a little bit of the water here. Okay, I will share more photos if I can. Oh, you say it's better? That's good. Yes, I wish I could go outside, but I'm going to lose the internet connection. I have to use the Wi-Fi, otherwise there's just no possibility of streaming, okay? All right, everyone, so if you have no, I'm going to share photos if I can. I'm going to sign off now, and I thank you so much for joining me. And the next time you see me, I'll probably be back home in Massachusetts. Please remember to check out photos. I've been sharing a little bit on Twitter and some also on Instagram. All the social media buttons are on the main channel page. But on Instagram, I'm English with Jennifer Lebedev, okay? Thank you so much for joining me, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day, night, wherever it is for you. I'm gonna meet my family soon, and we're gonna head off to dinner. So thank you, and take care, everybody. Bye-bye.